Good morning, friends. Happy Tuesday. It's the last day in March, which is super exciting, and we get to jump back into word study. To remind you, we are now paper free, which means that you still need paper. So you should have a pencil and a piece of paper, and you can go get that now if you forgot. And once you have it, you should label the top part WOD for word of the day so you don't forget to write down what our new word of the day is. Ready? Word of the day. 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 All right, see if you can figure out what our word of the day is based on this sentence. Reading an article about hummingbirds would enhance Nathan's knowledge of birds. Reading an article about hummingbirds would enhance Nathan's knowledge about birds. Of birds. What do you think enhance could mean? Take a second to write down your best guess. All right, you should have your best guess written down. Enhance means to improve the quality of. That makes sense because if Nathan read another article about hummingbirds, his quality of what he understood about birds would definitely be even better. Enhance means to improve the quality of. Go ahead and write that down. I'll bring it up later and see if you can remember. All right. So today we are focused on using apostrophes. This is something I'm really passionate about because a lot of the time people try and use them and even grown-ups mess them up. But you, smart second graders, are definitely not going to. Okay, so if you want to show that somebody owns something without saying that it belongs to them, you can add an apostrophe and an S. So instead of saying the kitchen of Miss Cashin, this is Miss Cashin's kitchen. Instead of saying the sneakers Joelle has, you can just say Joelle's sneakers. Okay, we are going to jump in and see if we can figure out how to fix these sentences. Make sure that each sentence has an apostrophe and an S to show ownership. Now, one thing that a lot of people do is they do exactly what I see in sentence one. They just add an S. But if you just add S, then that makes the word plural. You have to add an apostrophe and an S in order to make it make sense. So I'll show you on this first one. That should have an apostrophe S because whose shirt is blue? I'm sorry. Whose shirt is blue? Jack's shirt is blue. When you're showing that somebody owns something else, you have to add apostrophe and an S, not just an S, because that would just make it plural. The cat's paws are soft. Take a second and write down number 2 on your paper, and then write down what needs to change. You can write down the correct word. For example, for number 1, I would have written down Jack apostrophe S. The cat's paws are soft. What do I need to write down? Whose paws? The cat's paws. So the cat needs to have an apostrophe S. Why does paws not need an apostrophe S? Take a second, think in your brain. Why did we not add an apostrophe S to paws? Because the paws don't own anything. We're not saying the paws claws, or we're not saying the paws pads. We're talking about something that the cat owns. That's why cat needs apostrophe S. Number 3, my sneakers are too small. What do I need to change here? Write it down. My sneakers are too small. Now, are we talking about something that my sneakers own? No, there is nothing wrong with this sentence. Sneakers is the plural of sneaker. So if you see an S, but it's not showing someone owns something, it's just the plural, so we can leave it. There are no mistakes on sentence number 3. Number 4, my sister's name is Sophie. Now think, where do we need to show ownership? Where do we need to add that apostrophe S? Write it down when you see it. Whose name is Sophie? My sister's name is Sophie. We're showing whose name it is. So sister needs apostrophe S. It's not a plural, it's showing ownership. So you need the apostrophe and S. The dog's collar fell off. Write down the word that needs to be changed. Whose collar fell off? The dog's collar fell off. So dog should have an apostrophe S. We're not talking about more than one dog. We're talking about something the dog owns, its own collar. Number 6 says the laptop's battery died. Write down the word, only write down the word that needs to be changed. What battery died? The laptop's battery died. We're showing that the battery belongs to the laptop. That's why we need to add an apostrophe S. The principal's office is locked. So, in case you're confused by this point, you should have all the words that we changed written down. You do not need to rewrite the entire sentence. You just need to write down the word that you're changing. Cool? Okay. The principal's office is locked. Sorry. Whose office is locked? The principal's. I'm not talking about multiple principals. That's not a plural word. I'm answering the question, whose office? The principal's office. And if it owns to them, you add an apostrophe S. My dogs are playing outside. What needs to change? Take a second, write it down. Nothing needs to change in this sentence because I'm showing that there's more than one dog. I'm not showing that the dog owns anything. And you only add apostrophe S if you're showing ownership. My friend's birthday is soon. Whose birthday is soon? My friend's birthday is soon. It's something that belongs to your friend, so you need an apostrophe S. Now, if you wanted to say, my friends have birthdays soon, you would not need the apostrophe S because you're talking about multiple friends. But instead, the apostrophe S tells me you just have one friend with a birthday coming up. My aunt's name is Karen. What do I need to change? I need to add an apostrophe S. The word aunt. Whose name is Karen? My aunt's name is Karen. All right, let's move on. So the other thing I wanted to talk about today is contractions. And contractions are some of my favorite things in grammar because I call them word sandwiches. And in Cornell, we know that we put the two words out and then we smush them together to form a contraction. And then whatever letters get smushed out of the new word get replaced with an apostrophe. I'm going to give you an example. All of the words we're going to do today, and we'll be doing this all week, so you should be really excited, include the word not. So that means that the word O is going to get smushed, and there's going to be an apostrophe, and then NT. So I'll show you on number 1. I would not want to eat that. In order to combine those two words, you go like this: would, not, wouldn't. That's why we call it a word sandwich, because it smushes together two words. And any letters that the apostrophe and any letters that go away, that get eaten, are replaced by an apostrophe. So this becomes, I wouldn't want to eat that. Now I want you to look closely at this word because some people mess up where they put the apostrophe. You can see that little apostrophe is right where the O in the word not would go. Any letters that get en get replaced by an apostrophe. So if you're like, oh, I don't know where the apostrophe goes, it goes wherever the missing letters are. Okay, let's see if you can figure out number 2. The fly cannot stop buzzing. Okay, do it in your head. Cannot. What replaces it? Take a second to think about it. Cannot, can't. That's the word sandwich. The new sentence is the fly can't stop buzzing. That makes sense because I know that the 2 words that I just smushed together are can and not, and the apostrophe goes right where the O used to be in the word not. So whenever you have not contractions, it's going to end in N apostrophe T because the O gets sucked up. My friend will not stop singing. Take a second to write it down. My friend will not stop singing. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky. If you try to smush together will not, you might get willn't, and then you probably want in your head, that doesn't make a ton of sense. Will not, willn't? I don't think so. This is a tricky one that you just need to memorize. Will not, won't. If you will not do something, it's exactly the same as saying you won't do something. So my friend will not stop singing turns into my friend won't stop singing. Now, even though more letters got en, that N apostrophe T stays exactly the same. So will not just becomes won't. Just practice it for a second on your own. Will not, won't. Will not, won't. That's a word sandwich you just need to memorize. My friend won't stop singing. All right, the car could not turn on. Take a second, write it down. All right, what's this contraction? Could, not couldn't. So the car couldn't turn on. Could, not couldn't. All right, cool. Number 5. Now see if you can remember what you learned on number 3. My voice will not sound good if I sing. What does will not turn into? My voice, remember, will, not won't. My voice won't sound good if I sing. All right. Big things to remember for today. Number 1, if you want to show ownership, you add an apostrophe and S. But that's only if you're showing that somebody owns or has something else. Miss Cashin's mug. Miss Cashin's nose. Miss Cashin's students. The other thing to remember is that contractions are word sandwiches. Contractions are when you smush together 2 words to make a new word. And for not contractions, they're always going to end in N apostrophe T. Would, not wouldn't. Will, not won't. Can, not can't. The other thing to remember is the word enhance. Let's scroll back up. Enhance means to improve the quality of. So I would say coffee enhances my ability to have a good morning. Okay, last thing we need to do is our dictation. So go ahead and write a new line for yourself. Get ready. This one's a little tricky. Lots of homophones, but you got it. I knew you brought a new blue car to the sea. I knew you brought a new blue car to the sea. Last time. I knew you brought a new blue car to the sea. All right, check your work. I knew you brought, remember this new is Knew because whenever it's laying in your brain, you add the K. You brought, excuse me. So sorry. Brought is Brought. A new, because NEW is when you're talking about how something is brand new. Blue, BLUE, car to the sea. And that sea is not seeing with your two eyes like SEE. It's SEA like the ocean. I knew you brought a new blue car to the sea. All right, nice job today, my friends. See you tomorrow.